So now we have a 2010 Volkswagen Beetle. You can see the transmission pan's smashed badly. We're gonna go ahead and replace it, and the customer said that they didn't drive it after they hit something, so we'll definitely find out when we put the pan on and put fluid in it and see what happens. The pan has already been loosened up. We received the wrong pan the other day, so we had to set it back on so we didn't get no dirt in the engine or the transmission. So let me get set up, we'll pull the pan off, and we're gonna go ahead and swap it out and fill her up and see what happens. Okay, hopefully you can see. I know the audio is bad. We have a 7.3 running over there, so it's gonna add a little bit of background noise. But let's go ahead and get this pan off. I already have the new one ready to go on. We are changing the filter too. I think it's just a metal screen on this, but it already has been replaced. With all the wind blowing around, I don't want this thing open very long. So it's just a bunch of 10s. So hopefully this thing works. I really hate to all this effort put into a bad transmission, but what are you gonna do about it, you know? Okay. So there's the old pan. Now let's wipe up this mating surface. Oh, tranny fluid in my pipe. Try not to wipe the inside of the transmission with this rag, so we don't get no crap inside the transmission. There's some tranny fluid. Maybe I lied, there's tranny fluid in there. There's no magnet on the inside of this, so we're gonna have to, sorry about the noise, I'm gonna go ahead and set this pan on here. This brass adapter is how I fill them, so I'll show you that in a second. I need to pull the tube out of the inside of the old one, so let me get this pan a couple bolts started and we will do that. And these ones are kind of fun. You have to fill them to the bottom and pull it out. I think 105 to 113 degrees, I think. We'll find out for sure once I go look it up. I want to be certain, but from my experience, that's about where it's going to be at. You fill it up and then you pull the plug and make sure you get a nice steady little drip until it doesn't dribble out, and then it's full between that temperature. Impact. It's okay. It's not gonna hurt nobody. Just go ahead and make sure everything's tight. And the gasket was already on the pan. It's a brand new gasket, brand new pan. Like I said, that filter was already done last week. It was done on Friday. Today's a Monday. We got the wrong pan, so I had to put it back on and wait. Okay, now that that's done, let me get the old pan. I need to get the filler tube out. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and remove the plug and the pan. It's just like a little dipstick in there. You gotta stick it up in the hole, pull it out like that, so it comes out with it. It's just that right there. If you don't put this in, you won't ever be able to check the fluid. Because what it'll do is it won't ever fill up the pan. So I'm gonna remove this is just how I fill them. The little brass 1/8 MPT to, I'm assuming, 1/4 inch. We're just gonna go ahead and stick this in, thread it in by hand. We're not gonna tighten it. It just needs to sit in there. Okay, perfect. And then we're gonna go ahead and stick this on. Not gonna put Teflon, just again finger tight. We're not trying to win no races here. I'm breaking stuff today. Let me drain my filler. Okay. So it's gonna be a little difficult to show you. This is how I fill these Volkswagens. I have this thing right here. It's a 1.5 liter. I have another one of these that I made. It fits perfect, but I don't know what I did with it. I'm gonna have to hide this one so I can keep it. Okay, so now we're gonna go back on filling it. And this is genuine Volkswagen fluid. It's the only stuff I like to run in these cars. It's gonna take a little bit to fill. It's a slow process because you gotta go through that little tiny orifice. You could probably leave the little thing I installed in there by hand out to make it flow a little faster, but then you'd be fighting it trying to put it in, put it back in and not pour all the fluid out of there. And usually on these, I just like to fill them all the way up. We're gonna put, the dealer sent us 5 quarts. So we're gonna put all 5 quarts in there, and whatever pours out is extra. Yes, sir. Good. It's on the rack right now. We're doing the oil change. Okay. Yeah, is it full? Oh, perfect. That's like what, $300? Yeah, I know, huh? Now it is. No, we're gonna probably push it up next because once we get yours done, it's just too windy to do an oil change outside today. So once we get yours in, I know. Yeah, no, I want to get it fixed so we can get, because we have too many of those vehicles hanging out. Well, we have the Geo, we have the Honda, we have a bunch of just crap sitting around here. I just want to get, well, it has a balloon head gasket and a salvage title. Yeah, I know. It's not worth us fixing it and selling it to somebody. I mean, kind of, but it's doing a head on it, putting a radiator in it, putting all that stuff in, and it's not really worth it to sell to somebody. You know, because I don't want to sell somebody a piece of junk. Yeah, exactly. Or a friend's son, you know what I mean? Well, let's see how the Mazda turns out first. Yeah, once we get it on the rack, I'll probably just pull the tranny out of it and see what's going on with it first. Because I think that's a better car anyways. Okay. Yeah, that should be, do you need it by 30 or can you wait like an hour? If you could just wait an hour for me, just to give me some extra time. Okay, sounds good. Okay, I'm making a mess everywhere today. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Sons of a biscuit. This is not very fun today. In the wind. Should put a hose clamp on this too. Such a mess. Yeah, now we're filling it again. the goal is on these transmissions, you should overfill them at the beginning, because it's a lot easier to add it now than it is later when everything's hot, because you're fighting the time. Because I'm pretty sure, actually, I think this one is about, I think it's 95 to 113, I'll look it up. But once you get to 95, especially right now, it's, you know, outside it's almost 100 degrees. So we're kind of already there with our temperature in the trans, and it goes real fast. So let's say you pull the plug, there's nothing coming out, then you have to try to rush to fill it in a certain amount of time before, you know, you get past that 113 or 115 temperature, then you're screwed. Then you have to let it cool back down. It takes so much time. I prefer to just overfill them a little bit, and then once you're, oh, look at that. And then once you get past it, you know, you're good. Because you're going to drain it out anyways. You have to overfill it to find out the actual level. God, I'm making such a mess. I usually do these on the rack. It's so much easier. So much less of a mess. I'm kind of rushed today, and the wind isn't working with me either. And this setup that I'm using is not very great. I'm just making messes everywhere. But you gotta make sure too it's on the level ground. Check it. And then the other problem that I actually didn't think of till now is that, let's say this vehicle was driven, you know, it was driven and there was, it was leaking transmission fluid, right? So essentially, even if we put this fill in here, because this is normally, these take about normally 5 quarts when you drop the pan, you know, the converter could be drained too. So we might need even more transmission fluid. Ready? It's gonna start puking out. I know. It's not my proudest moment with what I've got. Currently, it is what it is. My gigantic mess I've made. I don't like messes. I don't like to make messes. But we'll get it all cleaned up and then we'll fire it up. We'll set it on the ground. I'm going to put it on the rack and check the fluid. So to my surprise, I just started up. The wheels actually spin. It seems to go into every gear while spinning up. So now we got to find the transmission temp. And we're at 105 right now. That's going to be hard to see. We're 105. So per the instructions, we need to be anywhere between 95 and 113. So 35 degrees. Yeah, 35 degrees Celsius. 45. which equates to 95 degrees Fahrenheit and 113 Fahrenheit. So you want to open the plug in between. It's a 5mm Allen. So always want to see. And just like I thought, there's nothing coming out. So we're gonna have to go get more fluid for it. So let me go order some more fluid. I'm not tightening that plug all the way. Let me go get more fluid and we'll return tomorrow. Okay, right now we're at 96 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and pull the plug. I put some fluid in it yesterday. Hopefully. Look at that. Can't let it come out until it stops. Take it out. Okay, we'll go ahead and continue. We're at about 98 degrees right now, and the spec was anywhere from 95 to 113. Just want it to be a steady stream. And I know this on jack stands, I can't do it on the rack. I don't have rack space, so it's evenly spaced out on the jack stands. The vehicle's about level. I put another quart in it, so I put a total of, what, 6 quarts in it. I think it's over there, behind that Nissan. Once it starts to get a little bit more aerated, I'm going to go ahead and put the plug back in. Usually I like to have a little bit more in there, you know, but it's starting to get really aerated. See the bubbles in it? Yeah, maybe I'll put the plug in. I probably should let it drain a little bit more, but it's, I usually like a little bit more. Not a lot, obviously, just a little bit. Drain plug is good. Okay, and that's a new pressure washer on there, so let's snug that down and there we go, we're done. And I'll report back and let you know how it drives.